Welcome back to On the Chain. Tonight we're going to touch on, RLUSD, that one currency based and built on the XRP ledger. But that is important as it does represent bank grade crypto infrastructure. We're going to get into exactly what that means, something maybe new. Maybe you guys have heard about it already. Maybe you haven't. But really, what's been unfolding over in Venezuela and globally, it just right now matters a lot more. Why? Because it's history in real time.
And what you're seeing out of Venezuela and from the Venezuelans themselves from around the world, 100% all out celebration. People celebrating liberation from a socialist regime that destroyed their country. They're thanking God. And really what happened is they the warmth of collectivism has been burned to the ground in exchange for freedom. Thank God. They're thanking America. They're thanking Donald Trump. They're breaking the grip of the system that forced millions to flee. We've got some data on that.
That's right. Rugged individualism. That's what
Hell
it's all
yeah.
about. Now, these aren't activists. They're not influencers. They're people who've lived it. They watch socialism destroy their economy, completely devastate their currency when we saw millions of percent of inflation. They turned a resource rich nation that was a regional exporter of precious stones, oil, and you wouldn't even believe it, but at one time, beef. And it turned this wealthy nation into a humanitarian disaster.
And so let's take a look at the contrast. On the very same day the Venezuelans are celebrating liberations, the Democrats, no surprise, and leftist groups globally organically appear. Same messaging, same outrage, same talking points, protesting the very outcome Venezuelans are thanking God for. There's so much more beneath the surface here. Tonight, we're going to start unpacking it. We're going to do some mini workshops. Jeff, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Then let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody, to On the Chain, everybody. Welcome to be here. It's the last official week of the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl of the regular season for American football here. And Jeff, the Bills beat the Jets. The Jets are so bad. I felt like they were playing a high school team. They had their second stringers and they beat them 35-8. And they ran the clock out. Yeah, they could have scored another touchdown, but they did the what do you call it? The mercy thing, where you kind of just like let them off, like, all right, we just run the clock out. We're going to kind of give you guys a little bit of a break here, right? So it was that part of it was pretty funny. I was actually laughing pretty hard, but there's a big game going on with the Steelers tonight. We'll see what happens. Steelers and Ravens are basically playing for who's getting in the playoffs here. If the Steelers win, they're going through, and
how it goes.
If not,
and there's some other Steelers going actually.
I don't know, man. My buddy who's a huge Steelers fan who hates the coach and how most of the fan base hates, because what happens is they'd be going every year to the playoffs and they're always out in the first round. So he kind of hopes that they lose tonight. I'm like, he goes, and a lot of the base is rooting that because they just don't like Tomlin. I think he's ineffective. And there's some effect he is, but I mean, I would never root against my team, but
I was going to say it's their team. Whether you like the coach or not, you replace the coach. When you don't win.
But they've had three coaches in the entire existence of the fourth coach in the entire existence of this team. So, but excited about this good new year. Look at that. Jim D called it right there. It's going to be a good new year. We're going to do a lot of cool things. I just think there's a lot of wild things. If you thought the Venezuelan thing was wild, I think we're just getting started. I think it's going to be one of those years where it's going to be mind blowing on a lot of different levels. So.
Well, there was so much to it. There was so much to it.
A shout out. Bonsai. Yeah. Very beautiful.
There you go.
It's going to be a good one. 2026 off to a great start. That's for sure. It is. And, everybody gets pretty much back to work on Monday as it kind of, kicks off the beginning of the work year when you pay most of your taxes to the government. But I'm really hoping that what happens with Trump is he really does enact the fact that the tariffs coming in and the fraud is like right now it's between $1 to 2/3 of what's been taken in.
Yeah.
And it's on a level that no one's
Massive
this
number.
you're talking about years, Jeff. This has been going on for 20, 30 years. Payments have been made. Nobody knows. No more NGOs. Rubio came out and said it's good. Payments will be made directly to governments. No more of these sort of filter things that filter it off, and who knows where it goes to. But I really think the big move here is putting it on blockchain. They put it on blockchain. That's a ledger that can't be messed with. There's no messing with the ledger or the blockchain ledger. It's there forever, man. And that's going to be pretty exciting.
That's got to, I mean, we're seeing something that, is having not just regional impact, but is going to change the geopolitical outcomes on a global scale. There's a lot of power moves that are happening right now, and Venezuela just happens to be the epicenter. And that, as we get into it later in commentary, we can kind of reflect on who's next, what the next moves are, and how it's going to influence the dynamic of the China power play, Russian influence, and beyond. And so it's going to be exciting. And then we're also going to have to tune in our attention to New York City, because there's some things going on in New York that I'm sure New Yorkers are not happy about. But you know what? They voted for what they voted for. They're going to have to live. They're going to live by the sword, and they're going to die on the sword. And so we'll see how long that mayor lasts in New York City, and we can talk a little bit about that later as well. But let's get into some of our crypto so we can kind of workshop and talk about that, and then dive into all the exciting geopolitical and the significance of what happened in Venezuela here.
100%. So we'll start it off here. Let's go right here over here to the Wormhole. Put this out. And I saw this basically because Ripple reposted it on X, but national bank grade oversight is the future of stablecoins. Whoever thought we'd see that bank grade and stablecoins in the same sentence? Ripple's executing the vision with Ripple USD and with the New York Department of, what is this one? The New York DFS supervises and regulates the activities of insurance companies and also financial institutions up in New York State. They're saying with this regulation, the oversight and conditional federal USOCC approval, Ripple sets the highest standard in stablecoin compliance. This is a big deal, quite honestly, because the OCC is the the controller, is what kind of oversees the banks and all that stuff. So it's a really good. It's a really good one. The currency, I should say, but it's really what the banks abide by because of the current. And if you ever had to name one official from there, we probably can only name one. That was the last Trump administration. But it says now going multi-chain powered by Wormhole. If you know anything about Wormhole, Wormhole is it's an interoperability platform connecting traditional finance and the internet economy. So basically going to make it available pretty much almost anywhere. So anybody that's leveraging Wormhole will be able to, that interoperability platform will be able to, go ahead and do with RLUSD. So a really good, a good play here, and basically connecting the entire internet. You can kind of see it down below. You're looking at Circle, you're looking at Uniswap Base, you see BlackRock is in there, VanEck, all the big guys. So they're all leveraging this stuff. You have Securitize in there. It's just it's a phenomenal platform, and the fact that they are shouting it out to Ripple basically on the compliance side is going to be huge. And I think that's where a lot of adoption will probably happen. Like Circle has a lot of the consumer stuff. They do a lot of stuff institutionally, but I just think with Ripple's latest acquisitions, the fact that they're going to be now leveraging they've got this interoperability platform, but if you think about it, that compliance is a big deal, because when you're dealing with institutions, compliance is huge for them, right? So making sure that your licensing is intact, and then you have multiple services. And we've already seen, there's been a bunch of press releases where you've seen companies like BlackRock doing stuff with now Ripple subsidiaries, and it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of the stable coin and being able to, influence traditional finance is really important. Having a significant ledger component to everything that's happening, also really important. especially when we start seeing some of the big moves that Trump has planned for hopefully this coming year, if not, by next year. But there's definitely some other bigger transitional points that we're going to see within our own economy. And so we got to stay tuned. These are the building blocks of everything that has to happen. So exciting times here. I like that. Yes.
Water and Roses. That's a new one. 2026 is going to be insane, but in a good way.
I like it.
Because 2023 was insane too, but not necessarily in a good way. So it was the opposite way. You changed your, I think you changed your handle. Pretty sure you changed. What was your handle before? Water and Roses. I think pretty sure you did.
Circle's legit. The other point with all of that, and John brings that up. Circle's legit. RLUSD legit. Especially with Ripple's tied to the financial infrastructure. I think Ripple would be even more so, only because of that tie-in. And then you have the PYUSD from PayPal, and that's it. You have USDC and Tether. Tether is now trying to put more Bitcoin, tie more Bitcoin into their treasury. They want to become, I think, more consistent as well. So a lot of things happening. XRP check, right?
I knew something was going on. I couldn't remember the original, but thanks for sharing that. I was like, I'm looking at the avatar. I'm like, something's a little bit off here, but that's okay. That's good. Good evening. What's going on, XRP plumbing? What you doing? The Blue Crew Plumbers. I love it. Here we have, and then I wanted to
from New Zealand.
jump into this as well. Look at this, Jeff. This is crazy. Yeah. XRP flips BNB to become the third largest cryptocurrency in the world by market cap. So it's back to where it should be. And I'll tell you, if you look on some of these, charts, I really don't like them putting stablecoins. Stablecoins should have their own chart, right, for market cap. Well, it's not crypto, right? It's not. I mean, in a sense, it's blockchain based, but it's not necessarily a crypto, right? It's stablecoin. Stablecoin should have a stablecoin chart. Crypto should be that. But if you look on it, you'll still see that
idea.
Something shows up. Well, I think some charts out there actually do that, but I was looking at the chart. I was like, oh, what the hell? Why is a stable coin ahead of of XRP? But if you're just looking at the cryptos themselves, it's number 3. Is it Tether? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Tether is right now number 3. But you know what's interesting? By 24-hour volume, if you look at that number, it's amazing. The 24-hour volume.
Put it on screen.
Yeah, of XRP compared to BNB right now.
No kidding. Impressive. No kidding, Jeff. Huh.
Very impressive. You see it? No, I haven't shared it yet.
I don't see anything. I'm looking at the screen.
I'm not sharing anything.
I just see your smiling face. That's it. There we go.
That's all I'm sharing.
Let's see. We go. Oh, here we go.
So, but if you look at the 24-hour volume, look at that, 3.6 billion. Look at that. 3.6. It's a nice number to 1.2. 1.2 on BNB.
Yeah, so it did crush.
Here's the market cap, though.
All right.
Crushes it on 24-hour.
Yeah, massive. But look at, it's funny. I was watching some podcast or something the other day where the guest came on. He said from October through December, the end of December, maybe it was could have been September, but October through December, he said the amount of Bitcoin, more than half of the current supply, was changed hands. So if you think about it, if maybe there's I think it was 7.5 million Bitcoin, and a lot of those were wallets where there weren't a lot of activity. Maybe people had piled in early, but if you think about it, that's almost half the supply. Because quite honestly, I don't think we'll see more than 15, 16, maybe 17 million Bitcoin. Out of the 21 potential, but 4, 5, 6 million was lost early days. People just going, not really realizing what it was. I think that was probably, so I don't know, maybe 16 million total. So you think about half of the supply. Can you imagine if half of the trading supply of any other thing like Ethereum or let's say XRP or Cardano changed hands in a short period of time, like 2-3 months tops? I find that to be really an interesting tell there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of huge. Right, look at this, Jeff. This was a big one yesterday. Speaking of which, the block that started it all 17 years ago was actually yesterday. 17 years ago yesterday, Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin and mined the first Genesis block. So And before, 18 years ago, if someone said Bitcoin, you'd be like, what? Is that a new game? What is that? A card game? What is that? Bitcoin. It looks like, sounds like some kind of a kid's game, maybe a video game, right? But you'd have been like, what is this? It's like, yeah, well, another year, Satoshi Nakamoto is going to mine the first, the Genesis block, the very first block. You'd be like, what? But it's been 17 years, Jeff. That's a while. It's pretty good.
17 years ago. It's no longer just 12 years ago.
No,
well, I still think about Bitcoin being like 12 years ago.
But is that right, though? So I guess 2006.
Well, it was mined in 2010, I thought.
I thought it was 09.
Was it
17 years
09?
It can't be right.
If it was
right?
09, I guess that'd be 17 years ago.
It is 17 years, yeah.
Well, what is the date? What was the exact date of the first?
Well,
did they put it there? It said 17 years ago today.
Well, that's because when did this post go up? This post was from yesterday. Yeah, this was on January 3rd. So it was on the 3rd.
Does anybody know?
I think it's 2009. I'm pretty sure it was.
It was 2009.
Yeah, it was 2009. Pretty positive. It's like, keep thinking it's like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It's 17 years. I mean, and the funny thing is
January 3rd, 2009. There you go.
And we're still early. That's the funny part about it. It's like still in its infancy. It's still kind of, after 17 years,
I think it's in 25 years. 25 years.
Yeah, we've got time to go and time to burn. Moon Lambo put out a really cool post that I really liked. He basically said, XRP Army, do you realize what just happened? There's only 5 spot XRP ETFs live today. And they've only been live for less than 2 months. We've been talking about it for so long, Jeff. When I read this, I was like, what, is that true? Like, it feels like it's been longer because we've been hearing about it for like the last 10, 11 months, right? And it hasn't gone through. But really, it's been live for less than 2 months, only 34 business days. Yeah. Today was day 35. And for all the spot XRP ETFs, the total net assets already equals $1.3 billion, $1.37 billion. So that means that 0.7 of all XRP in existence has been eaten up by ETFs in just 34 days.
Yeah, so now we got to wait for a little bit more, to happen. But, it's interesting too, because when they launched, XRP was what, like 225?
Yeah.
Then it dropped down. It's gone down. We're early. Things need to pick up. The whole market is trending down too. It was interesting to see Bitcoin at 86. Now that it's sitting at 92, maybe we're getting a little bit of a push from what just happened down in Venezuela. That was definitely a little bump. Some positivity in the space. I think we're going to see a little bit more momentum. We're going into a positive year as well. I think there's that pickup. People towards the end of the year get a little anxious. Maybe there's some sell-off, and then now beginning of year, starting to see some momentum again. But I like that right there. Imagine, 3, 5 year, 10-year plan out, and going into ETFs, there's still going to be some big moves there. Now's a great time to get into some of these ETFs. Yeah, I love the Bitcoin ETFs that I got. They're great.
Yeah, and also too, I think that there's something like, I say there's more than 15. I mean, I've heard all kinds of different numbers, 18, 21. It kind of, we'll see what it actually, but there's only a few that are launched. So the increase in demand for XRP that'll occur on the native crypto side of things, like Coinbase and Binance and stuff, that's going to push the price higher too. It's all happening at a time when the fundamentals for XRP have never been stronger, which is a major true statement. XRP's obvious early winner in the crypto space now has been for around 14 years. So if you're in XRP in 2026, even if you're brand new, you're going to look back on this moment and realize you were actually early. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now, you're early. In fact, the vast majority of adoption for XRP that will ever occur has not even happened yet. The best is yet ahead. It's a really good observation by Matt from Moon Lambo. I tried to get him on the show a couple of times. I think he's just too busy. There's another guy out there I'm trying to get on the show. I've been working on him for 1.5 years, just because I like his videos and I want him to come on. And now he's telling me March. He's like, March, I'm doing some traveling. I was like, come on, man.
So now
come on, man.
Now or never.
Now or never. It's a big year. 2026. We're going to do things upright. And so when you start talking about, we've always talked about, well, what's the general public doing? Is the general public supporting anything? Well, I'm going to play this video right here for you right now if I can find it. Where the hell is the damn video? Here it is. But check this out. This is, and I don't even think this is this new? I think this
I don't
is
know. I was trying to figure it out.
So I'm not sure if this is new or not. Maybe let me do a Google search on this. See,
Trying to figure out if this. It's interesting either way.
I feel like we've done this story before, but it's always hard to tell.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Then we could have just done it, and nobody would know.
Well, the thing, it's hard to know if it's we'd
be like, it's a brand new story just launched, and someone would be like, "Hey, that happened back in 2017."
That's the thing.
Yeah, no, this is new. We're covering it.
Let's see. When was this? What year? Let me see when. So yes,
talking about.
Okay. Yeah, okay, this is a new story, but I kind of remember somebody else.
We did talk about it. It happened. Something happened, a while ago.
Yeah, the one. You know what it is? It was through the app, but now it's I think everywhere. So I think that's the key difference.
Or maybe they were just discussing the possibility of it.
It could have been
something.
But we're going to play it anyway. Let's listen in.
And just the ease of which regular folks, people who go to Walmart.
Story about Walmart, right? So Walmart basically accepting crypto.
There are 150 million Americans who use Walmart online or in person every week. Can now actually have crypto in the very same app. They can buy it, they can hold it, they can store it, they can trade it if they want. And then when they want to go pay for something, they can turn it into cash and like we said, go. OnePay is actually integrated into the checkouts of Walmart. So it is, I think, a milestone in that case, Carl.
All right, Hugh, thank you.
It said roll out late 25, early 26. So it is somewhat of a new story, but I think they've announced this before.
Yeah, the story that we talked about wasn't OnePay. It was actually Walmart.
Well, Walmart in conjunction with
playing around.
Yeah.
But I think a while ago, it was Walmart playing around, toying. And I think they might have even filed a patent on something that had to do with crypto.
Because the story here another story I found from NASDAQ says that Walmart, Starbucks, and more are accepting crypto payments. December 26th, 2025.
They're not really accepting crypto payments then. If it's going through OnePay, it's not a true they're accepting the crypto payment. It's kind of a spin on because you're converting it through OnePay, converting it over to USD to cash. It's not even like they said they're accepting RLUSD or USDC. At least accept a stablecoin.
You would think, you would think.
Then that'd be exciting.
But I have to think that's coming. You always want to make it, less friction. Anytime you have a customer paying anything, if you can just go and use a wallet or somehow do a transfer, scan a QR code and pay for it that way, that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So
is that how they're going to do it? QR code?
I don't think so, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Like you want to use it natively. If you're just going to spend Bitcoin, use a couple of sats and you pay for something. But this one app is kind of a OnePay. Kind of like gaming the system a little bit. You're not really paying with crypto because the guy even said in the report you convert it to USD first and then you purchase. Okay, well that's an extra step. So I don't know how it exactly works, but the fact that like Starbucks and other companies are thinking about this is really, I think, where it really comes into play, and I think that's kind of the big deal right there. So that's the big deal.
I like how we're getting close to this idea of using QR code to simplify the payment process. If you think about, if you use your Starbucks app and you have money on your Starbucks app and you go and just scan, you can just scan to pay, which is kind of cool. When you go to Whole Foods, you can use your Whole Foods QR code to make sure that they log you into your Amazon account, which is a little scary that, it tracks everything you buy. You can now do a handprint over at Whole Foods. They're like, everyone's toying with different ideas of how to do things.
Yeah.
But we're getting close because then it ties in the crypto and the simplicity of the payment infrastructure to get away from the need from the carrying the credit cards around. But you use Apple Pay a lot, don't you?
I used it almost 90% in Japan. It was fantastic. I use Apple Pay all the time. I mean, all Apple Pay does is do the NFC for whatever card you're holding. So I was like, it was funny because I was using
that.
Apple Pay, but I was using Amex. So I had my Amex card, but it was just easier to touch it like that, do the NFC payment. And then and it's funny because sometimes it would be in yen and sometimes it would be in dollars, depending. Sometimes I switched between cards, but then I had to go convert it to find out how much did I really pay. And then I liked when it showed up. And sometimes you'd have a choice it would pop up and it said, do you want to pay in USD or do you want to pay in yen? And I'm like, is this an exchange rate thing where if I pick the wrong one, I'm going to get docked? You know, it's like, felt like it was a quiz, you know, I was like, okay, because I always chose yen because the bank will figure it out. If I choose USD, they're going to figure it out. So I always chose yen.
It's always a scam.
I was like, they're always trying to get you some way. Even when you like go to the airport and you like switch the money, I'm like, okay, that's not the going rate, but all right, I got my money, you know. And sometimes you had to pay cash. They didn't take anything. You're like, oh, got it. Have cash. And figuring out the coins is always fun. Anytime you go to a new country, you're like, what the hell is this? You know, and they have one that has got a hole in it. I'm like, what is this, a penny? This like seems useless to me. I'm like putting all the things in the subway machine. I'm like watching it tick up, bling, 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 like throwing coins in. And then I threw one coin and it went, poof. I was like, oh, that's a 500. Okay.
I put the wrong one in.
That's the wrong one. Back. Then it dispatches the change any way it feels like it. Like, so you get more coins back. I was like, oh no. Right. But my wife, the first lady, she was the one that was handling all that. She had the little, bag that we zipped them in and threw them in the backpacks or whatever. But
I always like using local currency as much as I can. I always like having local currency, but sometimes you travel, you end up using your credit card for everything.
Pretty much.
That's why, like when I was in Iceland, I was surprised that they wanted you to use credit card. I don't think we ever got local currency in Iceland.
Really?
I think I used credit card for everything.
Well, you know what I did was
everything.
Is I changed all my money back to USD because I was surprised. I thought I would actually use more because I thought I would have to use cash more, but I didn't want to be in a situation where I didn't have cash.
Right. Exactly.
Even like yeah. And I remember so one time, so I do all that, and then I'm waiting to get on the plane. I'm like, there's a cool vending machine. There's a Suntory vending machine that has all the Suntory products in it. I'm like, I'm gonna get a water or get a coffee or something out of there. I'm like, oh no, I don't have any more of those change. We got rid of all of our change. But the cool thing was, never fear, Apple Pay is always here. Bloop, there's one water. Bloop, there's another water. I took like 3 waters on the plane, drank them all in the first like hour. And I was getting up every 30 minutes to go to the bathroom. I was like, I want to stay hydrated, man. Jeff, look at this. This is pretty funny. The caption on this post is "Choose your fighter." Do you remember when the Democrats did that takeoff of the video game? We're like, "Choose your fighter," and they were doing it on there.
Every one of those videos.
It was so gay, Jeff. It was super gay.
Every one of them.
Now that Trump's president, I can say that again. Just totally gay, meaning stupid.
They were.
It's not going to offend people, but it was majorly gay. Okay, and I was like, it was so embarrassing. Like, do you have any self-awareness? Like, you watch it back and you go, I'm not sure that we should probably post that, but who cares? Let's have 10 more Democrats do the same thing, right, with the music, and then Trump put out their video, and it just like it was so easy to just knock them down. Well, here we go. Cool.
Street Fighter. That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. Street Fighter. It was like a Street Fighter thing. Choose your fighter. Well, this is the caption on this one. Choose your fighter. There's the Delta Force that went down. Okay. You know what the next picture is going to be, right, Jeff? You just know. Everybody's already figured it out. The next picture. Bling. Choose your fighter. It's just the greatest thing ever. Do you remember that?
That's the best. That's the best.
How can you, with the right mind, even think?
Oh my God.
We're at the point of like 20 years ago. Like, if you said, like, if I go back in 20 years, Jeff, you and I go back in time, we go like, listen, you're just not in the future. Let me show you this picture. This is the picture of the future. Be like, come on, that's not even a good SNL skit. It just isn't. It wouldn't make a good parody skit on any network. You'd be like, seriously? I mean, what kind of? I mean, remember that one guy that would get up there and he would, with a straight face, dressed up like a girl. I mean, how is this even possible?
I still believe we somehow switched timelines. I think we're on like a normal timeline. And somehow this other timeline kind of interfered with ours. And it was like a parallel, and all of a sudden, and we finally are kind of kicking it back out and getting normalcy again. It was crazy. That was Crazy Town. We still have some of the effects of Crazy Town.
This is
thank
good.
God it's got to be done. We got to get rid
Not
of
only
all
is it gay, but Chad's reminding us it's also retarded.
and retarded. That's right.
And by the way, on X, there's all
Rachel
kinds
Levine,
of
yeah,
the
right.
retard finder at
Rachel.
retard finder is one of my favorite accounts where he goes like, I found one, and it's always some lefty. He's always like, I found one. Yeah, they're not hard to find. They're pretty easy, but
we're gonna see some more of them in the videos later.
Somebody had a it was like someone took a picture of a lawn sign. I gotta find this. It's a lawn sign. It says, "In this house, we say gay and retarded." It's like,
that's right. Yeah,
I'm like, we never stop saying it in my house. I say all kinds of stuff. I don't care because I said something out, and I don't. What did I say? I said something. I'm like, I don't know. Can you say it anymore? I go, I just did, and I'll say it again if there's any problem with the hearing. But there you go. Choose your fighter.
Well, growing up, I mean, growing up, we used to say, worse things to our friends.
Oh yeah.
You come in and you just feel like.
I go with my buddy Eiswein to the gym, and we call each other homos and all kinds of stuff. It's fantastic. It's the best. It's the best ever, man. So there you go. This right here, Jeff. Let's just get into Zohra. And the worst thing is we got to say that stupid name.
I don't know what that name is.
Mandani the commie.
What was that? What was that one movie?
The Dictator.
No, yeah, was it the Dictator?
It was the Dictator.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, it was the Dictator.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a parody that came true. So Mandami just downgraded
last week.
Jeff, this is like this is another one of those things is like, no, this is real. He downgraded the New York Police Department commissioner, ending direct mayoral briefings that existed since 9/11. Policing is now treated like sanitation. The mayor no longer believes Islamic terror represents a threat to the city, sees no need for daily intelligence briefings. After 9/11, New York's mayors kept the NYPD, the commissioner, in a direct daily intelligence loop. The model's now ending. Mandani removed the commissioner, Jessica Tisch, direct line to his office, relegating police leadership to the same access level of garbage collection. The shift weakens situational awareness at top and reflects in beliefs that the Islamic terror threats. Now, when it goes down, something's going down.
Well, it's all purposeful. Everything that he's doing right now is to undermine the civility of the city.
Chad says his briefings come from the other side. We're laughing about it, but there's not a truer statement on the screen right now. I can tell you right now. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And out to dismantle the city like Obama did so many times in this country. Yeah, 100%, man. That's exactly.
But they know what they're doing, right? We've seen it happen over in Europe. We're seeing it happen, and they're ratcheting things up right now. And we have to be vigilantly aware of what's happening. We don't understand it, then that's to our own detriment. But New York City is as symbolic in the world, obviously much more symbolic than London, but London is suffering, right? You look at the mayor of London, right? Look at the Islamist impact on England, on London and beyond, and think about what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan, in Hamtramck, Michigan. They haven't gone too far out yet, but they're moving at a pace. And now New York City is right there. And now they have, what was it? Islamic Heritage Month in New York City. And they're lighting up a month. Do we need to give everybody a month? What is this month? And this guy, there's I think one of the videos that we have, we'll play the video. But there was another one. I don't know if I put the video there. The Islamic prayer echoing through the streets of New York.
Yeah, I mean that's been happening actually a lot longer than you think. I mean, it's happening more often, but
it should happen zero. It should not happen. I don't hear, call for any other prayer going on. They want to. We're at such a point now, and there are so many videos that that people have been watching or posting lately, and it's like, come on, if you want to live in an environment where they have call for prayer, go to the Middle East. That's where they do it. Go live over there. You don't have to, offend, every Christian and and Jewish person and, someone who's atheist, and beyond. Everybody on the street now has to hear your call for prayer. Go to the Middle East, and that's it.
Well, what happened to, you can't have, and there was a video that I think we had yesterday where it was in the UK, and a preacher was on the side of the road. He was basically getting arrested for basically just, talking about Christianity. But you can have the call of prayer and take up a whole street, and
the
whole thing is ridiculous.
You can't have church bells, but you can have call for prayer because there's certain sound ordinance, so if you have a sound ordinance and yet you can have call for prayer, things have gotten so out of hand. But
here, look at this, Jeff. Here,
yeah, you're freezing up.
I froze up for a second there.
Yeah, you froze up.
It was easier to capture the leader of Venezuela than it was to find a kid in a Minnesota Somali daycare. I mean,
oh my God.
I mean, what the hell? I mean, is that crazy? I mean, are we doing this right now, man? It's insane.
Yeah, Ramadan is a month of fasting. Yes.
So what? And that's not. Look. The president used to be like, used to have George Washington, and then it was like, you had two presidents that had a day, and then it became one President's Day. So one day we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of the United States, and you only get one day. That's it. Mm-hmm. One day. You get a day to honor the dead, and you get a day for labor. That's it.
And by the way, Ramadan is February 17th.
Yeah. So what's the point? Why are they lighting it up green? Like, what's the significance? I don't even care. I don't care. They don't do anything for the two biggest faiths. Christianity, Judaism. Why? What's the thing? What is the? I don't. It's not making any sense here.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some Venezuela stuff.
Let's talk about. So let's look at a couple videos here of people basically, because the other thing that happened is like these fake crowds broke out pretty fast. But look at this guy here.
How are you guys? Where are you from, guys? No? Hi guys, no more war. Where are you from? Here. Here? And why are you protesting right now? Today?
No more wars in Venezuela.
No more wars in Venezuela. And you know about the situation in Venezuela?
Yes.
What do you know about the situation in Venezuela? So, you want to give me an answer? Because we can talk. I'm not aggressive or anything. I just want to talk, actually. So we have here a group of people that they are protesting because they want no more war in Venezuela. But all these people, there's nobody here from Venezuela. So from all these people, nobody is from Venezuela. This is people from United States. This is people from other places. But there's no people from Venezuela.
Paid protesters.
And actually, I am from Venezuela. Andrés Bermúdez Portillo from Maracaibo, Venezuela. I spent time in jail because of the regime of Nicolás Maduro. We have 25 years with a dictatorship. And right now, in the moment that somebody take attention of that situation, people decide to protest because they don't want war. So in the past 5 years of 30 million of people that live in Venezuela, more than 10 million leave the country. So these people is right now protesting because they don't want that we, the Venezuelan people, recover our freedom. So these people don't want that Venezuela be free.
They don't want it. That's true.
Because they want to attack Donald Trump, and they want to use the name of my country and the name of my people to do this without caring about all the people that has died and is suffering right now in a jail in Venezuela because of this regime.
Yep. What did you notice about the first guy that he was talking to with the toothpick arm?
He has no idea why he's there. He has no idea why he has no idea where he is, why he's there. He didn't even understand. He didn't even understand the question. Right. I don't even think that he understands the sign he's holding. He's probably like, "No more war." Oh, I guess okay. I mean,
but he's the typical, liberal that you expect to see at a protest like that, obviously paid. Then you saw the heavier woman, the obviously the organizer, and she comes over and always this, and she's like trying to tell him to stop. It's just such a pathetic repeat. I feel like you just repeat the same narrative over and over again, the same people. There's always the one that tries to shut them down, and they're all just stupid. They have zero, and here he is, a Venezuelan coming there to have a engage, and they want to shut him down. It's amazing to me. But
it's stupid. What is more? We got some more videos here.
Yeah,
Here
we
we go. A whole bunch of them.
Hi, my name is Paula, and I am Venezuelan, born and raised. I've lived in the United States for almost 10 years to the date, and I am an American citizen also, by the way. The main reason why I'm coming here today, I'm literally nobody, and if this reaches one person, my job here, that one person that didn't know what was happening in Venezuela, and now they do, my work here is done. I am outraged about the comments I've been seeing today. I made the mistake myself of going on social media and reading all the news outlets reporting on the news of the Venezuelan strikes, well, military strikes to remove Maduro, thank you, and everybody, ton of Americans, and then from whatever you're from, but you've never been to Venezuela, you have no idea about the political situation in Venezuela, the history of Venezuela, and trying to be like our saviors. Like, I can't. Let me set some things straight. First of all,
so good.
The regime has been going on since 1998 when Chavez was elected president. From there on, their country is the mess, in good words, that it is today. We have suffered a lot. The Senate was dissolved. The Constitution was changed. They bought the military, all the armed forces. Many people have been killed, kidnapped. You can go do the Google search yourself. Or...
You know why, Jeff? The warmth of collectivism. That was what it... Remember what Chavez promised. Free oil. Everyone's going to have free oil, free food.
Free education, free
and
food.
Just like the people of New York, they're like, yes,
one free.
They all lined up and wanted it.
Yeah, the other thing that Chavez did was he promised that the poor people could live in the wealthy neighborhoods. So he instigated class warfare, and he was really good at it. And then he also went after the grocery store, the grocers, and blamed them for the cost of increase of food. So there were all these different things that he did to orchestrate to break down society from within. And then what he did was he claimed golf courses and parks in these wealthy neighborhoods, and he built subsidized government housing in the wealthy neighborhoods by taking over the parks and the golf courses. And he moved the poor communities into those regions, many of them. And so it just caused all sorts of chaos and conflict. And everything was purposeful. Exactly everything that Mamdani is talking about. Everything that what's his name? Who's that? The old guy, that the senator that nobody can stand. Everything that he talks about, just
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. It's the same nonsense.
I'm Bernie Sanders, and I'm going to tell you, I've never had a job in my life, but I'm going to set you straight.
But it played out. It played out in Venezuela. If you were to say, and you were to study this at university, and these university professors that typically pontificate and just want to listen to their own bullshit, but in this case, here's like the perfect, real life, real world example of what socialism does to a country in 2 decades, in such a short period of time, how they dismantled a free society that was wealthy, that had resources, that could mine the resources, that it was exporting and was a mass exporter of beef and other product. And then within 20 years, we're at where we're at now. It's unbelievable. And, we had previous administrations, Obama, one of the bigger culprits, that turned a blind eye to the theft of election, and obviously that was purposeful also. and soon to find out that companies like Dominion are Venezuelan-based companies.
Right.
So go figure. So let's say, are you ever going to trust a company that is being that's producing voting machines that's under either a Chavez regime or this Maduro regime, which is an extension of the Chavez regime, that's tied back into Cuba, tied into China, tied into Russia, that has Hezbollah components coming into Venezuela? It's a launching point. So there's so much more being orchestrated from this point. We just saw two Venezuelans, just regular people talking, and we haven't even gotten started yet.
Regular people, just let's let her finish.
Just ask, because clearly Google's not working for you people. 3 things I want to get across today. 1, Venezuelans are sad. No, we're not. This is literally the happiest day of our life. This is our second independence. We are still in shock, complete shock about what finally happened. We have been wanting this. We have been praying for this. We have been literally anybody that we have been able to go to and ask, and nobody listened to us. So we are happy. Enjoy. And even if you're a Venezuelan in Venezuela or a Venezuelan outside of Venezuela, in any country that you are, if you left 10, 15 years ago, 5 days ago, or a week ago, we are all happy. So don't worry about us. We're happy. The United States only attacking Venezuela because of the oil. People, we do not control our oil. We haven't seen our oil. Russia, Iran, Cuba, China, whatever other countries, Central America and South America, we've been giving away our oil to all these countries. Like, we're not seeing that. Anyways, so, and we used to have trades and whatever other things with the United States before Chavez about our oil, and our country was working fine. So the way we don't care, don't worry about us. If the United States wants to take our oil, we will be happy to be giving away the oil to the United States if that means that our country is going to be safe and that us citizens or residents of whatever of Venezuela are going to be good, are going to be able to make money, are going to be able to retire, which none of those things are happening right now. And then number 3, if you're worried about what United States did to Venezuela and that what's going to happen now, nothing, literally, and I mean this, nothing can be worse than the hell we've lived up until now. So stop, and I mean this, stop trying to explain Venezuela to Venezuelans. Stop. If you want to know, reach out to someone from Venezuela, okay? Either that are living there or that left. So again, I am very upset. I am outraged. I spent a dumb amount of time today on social media reading all these comments, and that was my own mistake. And that's why I felt compelled to make this video, leave it open. I am open to answer any and all questions if you're genuinely wanting to know what's going on. Any comments about trying to explain to me what's happening or how I must feel today, like, you're out.
Great.
I'm not kidding. Thank you.
She's way too nice. She's way too nice, but it's heartfelt, Jeff. It's totally. Yeah, it's a heartfelt message, and I have to say that it's great to see it. The fact that she's a little nervous. She's doing the video, but she's like, why would you have these white liberals, especially the women, explain Venezuela to them? 27, 28 years of persecution. Not only that, but a lot of people die. This is what part they don't talk about in communism, that how many people die. They basically confiscate every business. And I saw a video, it's in Spanish. I'm going to play, I have a Spanish one today, but just because it's more visual, but the one guy, they were interviewing one of the Venezuelan guys on the ground, and it was like a CNN type reporter, but it was all in Spanish. He was saying, well, what do you say about the fact that the US is coming in for oil? He goes, and he said the same thing she said. She goes, China's here, Russia's here, Cuba's here. They take all of oil. What do you think they're here for? Rape us recipes?
Right.
He's like, why do you think they're here? You think they're here for the oil. And so they're like, oh, and it's just funny to see that. But this is one of the greatest things, and I voted for this, and I didn't even know how great this was going to be. When I see this show up on the official White House account, and I always have to check it because I think, is it a different account? I'm like, no, at White, did I spell it? That's WHIT, at White House. Okay, because I want to make sure like it's not special characters and it's something else. No games, fuck around, find out. There's a picture of Trump with the White House logo on there. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at this. There it is.
You got to love it. But you heard Hegseth say that yesterday.
Yeah.
If you F around, you find out.
Find out, you know. I mean, they weren't, what do you think those think they were doing off the coast? They weren't sitting there, you know, crocheting. So I see this kind of stuff and I'm like, this is the greatest thing. And, you know, the taunt videos that they put out on the White House too, those are the other ones too. And I just have to check it. But this one right here where Maduro basically taunts Trump, come and get me. He's what he's saying. I'll do the for the voice podcast. I'll do the translation. Come get me. I'll wait here in Miraflores. Don't take too long. Howard.
Now, if you don't know, now you know.
Daddy Trump. I gotta be careful because of the music there. I can't have the music on there.
There's Trump walking into the.
I mean, look at that. You coward. Rubio, like it, not you didn't know, now you know. There he is. There he is on the plane, and there's Trump walking in. This is the greatest thing. Another White House. There's so much great stuff. Like I think that might be the greatest account ever. Like the White House.
There's another one with the bombing with the music.
Oh, the music. Yeah, when they rolled it in. Yeah, that was the other one. I couldn't do that one because of the music's too heavy. Like in the beginning of that. But yeah, and you see like the helicopters roll in. God, it's just one of the greatest. It really is fantastic. My God, I don't even know where we are. So let's play this other one. There's another one about Venezuela.
Dear American media, please stop using these three phrases in your Venezuela coverage because you're not being neutral. You're legitimizing a dictatorship. Listen, I've worked in American media my whole life. I've even published in the New York Times. And yes, they've been one of the outlets getting this wrong. So here's what to stop saying. 1. President Maduro. Maduro claims he won the election in July 2024 with no proof. The opposition, led by Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina Machado, won by a landslide and have the receipts. So say dictator, autocrat, authoritarian leader, de facto ruler. Stop granting him the title president. 2. Regime change. Regime change makes this sound like Iraq or Afghanistan to the American public. Use democratic restoration, constitutional order, a democratic transition, a return to what voters chose. 3. Delcy Rodriguez is a moderate. Speaking French or studying abroad doesn't make someone a moderate. Delcy Rodriguez is Maduro's VP. She handles the oil and is responsible, along with his power brokers, for one of the biggest refugee crises in our hemisphere and for torturing and imprisoning thousands of innocent people. If she replaces Maduro, it's not an ouster, it's a reshuffling. If this coverage affects you, share this. Send it to your American friends and tag journalists and editors and outlets, because if the U.S. public doesn't get the words right, they'll never understand what we're setting out to do. Si eres venezolano o latinoamericano, comparte este video con tus amigos estadounidenses, con publicaciones, periódicos, editores.
So you get the gist there, but you know, it's funny that she makes that third one is a really good point. She talks about the whole idea of democracy, right? What do we hear from the left all the time? Democracy. Okay, we live in a constitutional republic, but yeah, I get you'd love to have mob rule. We get that. You're a little stupid. You're not that bright. But what is the first thing they do? They don't talk about democratic restoration. They don't talk about installing somebody or putting the person that was actually elected. Oh, no. They keep digging deeper holes. Like they only need to read the first rule of holes, which is when you're in one, you stop digging. But no, they just get the shovels out and start digging further and put themselves in a more compromised type position, which is just hard to understand and sort of square it. What else do we have here? Gosh, there's so much good stuff here.
There's just one after another.
Let's see. There's they're kind of mixed. Oh, so here's, speaking of Bernie Sanders, Jeff, here's Bernie Sanders. I'm Bernie Sanders. I've never had a job. Have you ever seen pictures of him from like when he was like in his 20s? He looks like a typical hippie loser that just woke up, just walked out of a house.
He never had a job. The guy never had a job.
But he's worth millions. He got multiple houses. Sure. I mean,
somehow
you must pay your fair share. Everybody has to pay their fair share, right? What is their fair share?
That's how this one ties everything together.
Donald Trump has once again shown his contempt for the Constitution and the rule of law. Let's be clear. The president of the...
He just made the faux pas of all faux pas. Let's be clear. When you say let's be clear, everything you're saying after that's complete and utter bullshit.
The United States does not have the right to unilaterally take this country into war.
There's a particular kind of entitlement it takes to believe you can explain Venezuela to Venezuelans. And what's worse is that this so-called analysis often comes from people who claim to oppose appropriation and white savior thinking while doing exactly that. When narratives about Venezuela are formed without Venezuelans in the conversation, reduced to simplistic takes about foreign interference and then broadcast as education through threads, carousels, or reels that end up whitewashing a narco-authoritarian regime, that isn't activism. It's the appropriation of a pain that isn't yours. Now, here's the reality. There are hundreds of political prisoners, including teenagers. Many never properly tried. There are forced disappearances. More than 7 million Venezuelans, that's a quarter of the population, have fled the country, many crossing deadly terrain because staying was worse. Nearly half the population struggles to eat. Children are malnourished. Hospitals barely function. Journalists are silenced. NGOs are criminalized. And families, whole entire families, including mine, forced to flee. Given this reality, using U.S. force to remove a narco regime that has held an entire population hostage for decades isn't interventionism. It's a response to a regional security crisis. Venezuela has become a continental issue, destabilizing neighboring countries and the United States through mass displacement while serving as a safe haven for guerrilla groups, drug and human trafficking networks, and hostile actors like Russia, China, and Iran. Venezuelan sovereignty was lost long ago when the regime effectively handed the country over to these interests. Freeing Venezuela from criminal control is not only a just cause, it serves the stability of the entire hemisphere. And if we're going to move forward in this deeply polarized tribal moment, we have to learn how to hold two opposing truths at the same time.
Guy's on fire, man. I mean, like, and these are just random people that are coming across. Jeff, there's been so many of them popping up in my feed, and they can speak. I mean, and not only that, could they speak to the issue, but also in a very, very poignant way. It's really incredible to kind of go through these videos and just see how, you know, my wife shared a story. She was I think it was 2 years ago. She was in Colombia, and there's a lot of foot traffic that comes in. People are still fleeing Venezuela, and this one part of Colombia that she was in, they went out and they made 150 sandwiches. And they gave them out, you know. And then she said, I gave it to one of the kids. She was passing them out. And the kids were jumping up and down, smiling because they could eat. They were hungry, man. They haven't eaten for days. Kids are, they're trying to go to a country that will accept them. And people think, well, the fleeing already happened. No, it gets so bad. You gotta take your family and move somewhere. And they just they all kind of said south. And unfortunately, a lot of the criminal element kind of bled down into like Peru and Chile and Argentina, as far as Argentina, where the bad element comes in. And then all of a sudden you got crime that raises up and all kinds of stuff, just because those countries don't have aren't necessarily fighting it. But it's like, those are stories that break your heart, man. It's like, these families they don't have a way to even feed their kids. It's just, it gets to be really sad at some point.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where's the gosh?
There are a couple other really good ones on Venezuela, and then there's one.
Well, there's this one right here. This was some footage that was taken when Maduro got off the plane.
Do we agree? Has there ever been anything like that? He didn't know what hit him. He's going, "Oh, get me off of this stage."
See that, Jeff?
Yeah.
Trump runs up and takes a selfie. AI this might be the best application for AI ever, man.
Oh my God. But there's one here that I think kind of puts it all together. And that was from Gene Robinson. Did you pull that one up?
I don't think I had that one.
Oh man, this one's good.
I put it in the keep. I didn't see it.
I put in the keep. It's under Democrats Need Ghettos.
I mean, I have more on them. I have more other ones queued up.
Yeah, so this one, but let's put this one up. Let me put this one up. This one is so poignant. Hang on. Shoot. Let me get it. Here it is. Let me see if it. All right, perfect.
Oh yeah, okay, that dude. Okay, I did see that one. Yeah, I had that one queued up. I have that one if you want to. Let me see if. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
The thing was, they were all out of order, so it's kind of hard to.
I know. Yeah, it wasn't a sequence.
So
Let's see if you can put that one up.
I usually have them in order. There we go. There we go.
I'd like to know why every single Democrat in lockstep with their media amplifiers are screaming illegal about Venezuela's strike, about the U.S.'s strike on Venezuela, as if indictments that have existed since 2020 suddenly have vanished. This is a pattern, folks. They don't react to law. They react to disruption. What was disrupted was not sovereignty or norms. It was a revenue stream. Let me explain. Drugs moving north, bodies dropping in neighborhoods that look like mine, overdoses that fuel the NGO economy. The chaos isn't accidental, folks. It's by design. It's a system. Remove the source of narcotics and the money dries up. There's no more chaos. There's no more ghetto. But Democrats need ghettos. From Dan Goldman to Maxine Waters. They need ghettos. No drugs means no overdoses. No overdoses means no grants. No nonprofits. No endless conferences. No executive salaries wrapped up in the language of compassion. And none of that money ever reaches the mother burying her child or the family shattered by fentanyl. It never reaches them. I know this to be true because I live in the aftermath. Not the press release. Not with CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC. I don't live in that world. I live on the ground in the ghetto. That is why their outrage is uniform. That's why you see every Democrat from California to New York condemning the strike. That's why there's no deviation. They don't care about the legality. They only want the chaos that serves them. They only care when the order threatens their machinery. Black death is not a tragedy to them. It's a funding mechanism. When people like me overdose and die with needles still in our arms, that's a feature. That's what's supposed to happen. Do you understand me? Color does not matter inside the party either, because they got these black explicatives, and they're nothing more than glorified gatekeepers, very well-paid gatekeepers, I might add. They're paid to keep you in the plantation, picking cotton. That's exactly what they want you to do. So, like I said, black Democrats or white Democrats, they're all the same. It doesn't matter. But the utility does. The dead bodies keep the pipeline flowing. Stability breaks it. So they condemn not because something was wrong, but because something was profitable and it was stopped by President Trump. That's the design. That's what they need. That's why they're furious.
Man, the guy's so spot on.
That is so spot on. That's such fire. So Jeff, you know what happened? Did you remember Mamdani promised there would be free bus rides?
Oh yeah.
Hi guys, from the New York City bus. Where Mayor Mamdani, he promised us a free ride, but guess what we got instead? Higher bus fares. Yes, that is right. Today, the price of this bus went up to $3. You know why? Because even with this price increase, the New York City buses and subways are barely able to function. The mayor of New York City has actually never had control over the transportation. That is controlled by the state. Yes, that's right, the governor. Mamdani, he lied to all of you, and guess who's paying the price? All of us.
Yep. $3. Yep.
Check this out, Jeff. Here's an Aussie patriot right here.
USA! USA! USA!
He got arrested for going to a pro Maduro rally and yelling USA.
USA! 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 Hey, what's up? What's up? Fuck communism! Maduro! Fuck Maduro! Fuck Maduro! Down with communism! Down with communism! USA! USA! USA!
how fast they were on him, Jeff.
Yeah. The police at least they look tough in Australia. Not like the ones in the UK.
It's debatable, Jeff. I don't know. Look at this Maduro playset. It's all in Spanish, but you'll get the gist of it.
Direto de Caracas, chegou Madurinho, o prisioneiro mais procurado do mundo, com recompensa de 50 milhões de dólares e muita história para contar. Traga ele algemado numa missão radical da Delta Force.
Señor cobarde, venga por mí. Aquí lo espero en Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
Com bandeirinha, comida de cela e algemas de verdade. Leve pra base, interrogue e mostre quem manda. O Madurinho, o prisioneiro mais procurado do mundo.
Gotta love that, Jeff. And then here's what Trump said after this whole thing went down.
Amigos, yo soy su nuevo presidente, el señor Donaldo J. Trump. Your ex-presidente, el señor.
He's dressed up like he's dressed up just like Maduro, man. He's got the freaking mustache, the dark hair, the sash over him. He's got the Venezuelan flag in the background. This is too much.
Maduro is no longer your presidente. He kept talking shit, and fucking around, though, and he ultimately found out, though. Anyway, we're going to make Venezuela grande again. Mucho grande. El bigger y el better than ever before. We're going to drill, baby drill. We're going to have a big, beautiful fiesta, all the tacos you want. Mucho mariachi, sexy mamacitas, and delicious margaritas. And President Trump is going to be el DJ, okay?
It sounds like a soundbite, Jeff. We should play that one right there.
And delicious margaritas. And beautiful fiesta, all the tacos you want. Mucho mariachi, sexy mamacitas, and delicious margaritas.
There you go.
And President Trump is going to be el DJ, okay? Muchas gracias,
DJ.
Muchachos. Y let's make el Venezuela grande again. Arriba el Venezuela, amigos.
Oh, my God.
And then there's this one. There's a new Disney Pixar coming out. Look at this.
President is a coward. Come get me. I'm waiting.
Well, how about that? Quicker than DoorDash.
FAFO. Oh my God.
It's actually too good. Here's Pitbull addressing a crowd about Pitbull, so you're talking about the U.S.
Whoever the fuck doesn't like the United States of America, may God bless you, but fuck you at the same time.
Yep.
If you don't like the United States of America, go back to the countries that we the fuck from, and you'll see how much you appreciate the United States of America.
That's it. That's so spot on.
God, I love that.
All the people that speak.
Dude, did you remember Bob Barker? Did you know Maduro's on The Price is Right? Check this out.
Congratulations, Mr. President. You've won an all-inclusive trip back to the U.S. of A.
Move in! Hands behind your back! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
He fucked around and found out.
Oh.
Bob Barker. Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is fantastic, man. It really is. No other word for it. It's kind of late, Jeff.
China's been put on notice.
Yeah, well, the first thing I thought of was when that happened, I thought, I think Iran and Cuba are shitting their pants right about now. I'm like, they're wondering what's going on. You got the uprising in Iran. They're going to take back Iran, man. And there's no mistake while this stuff's going down. There's no mistake. Well, the good news, Mark, is you will have that clip, because if you go ahead and put your email or you go to the website, you'll be able to find the clip on there. We publish them on the website right after the show concludes. We send out an email that has all the clips on it that you watch here and all the stuff we do, and probably a lot of stuff. We didn't get to a lot of stuff tonight, but I do have to get out of here. That's great. It's good stuff. Need more popcorn. We're gonna need a lot more popcorn. Trump is strategic. If you want to know what he's planned for this year, get the popcorn. You're gonna need an awful lot of it, because timing is everything. Watch what happens as we start getting close to the midterms. Watch the fun and the avalanche of no more drip, drip, drip. Talking avalanche. It's going to be a phenomenal year.
It's all coming.
It's all coming. Just get that popcorn ready. But that's all the time we have here.
That's it.
People will be free again too, right? Cuba. There you go. They're scared shitless.
Yes.
So look around, find out. There you go.
We're seeing many countries saying, please, Trump, get our leaders, the UK included. Well, the UK, they're going down a slippery slope. There's a lot of evidence to show that the UK apparatus is behind a lot of things that have been anti-US. So
go figure. They've been doing it for 250 years.
They have been.
So, no income tax. Yeah, the no income tax. Those tariffs. People are like against tariffs. The tariffs also weans us off the Fed. So we don't need the Fed. We don't need to even worry about that. We get, and I love the fact that Trump is suing the Fed chair. He's going to go after him for incompetence. He's going to open up discovery, and he's going to find out all kinds of stuff. So it's just getting going. Viva LOTC. I love it.
LTZ.
Top marks, gents. Thank you guys very much. That's it. All the time we have, guys. We're getting out of here. That's all the time we have tonight.
Crypto capital of the world. America first.
Damn straight. That's what I say, bitches. Amen.
Making America great again.
Make America great again. Make Venezuela great. Cuba, Iran. Imagine a free Iran, like with a Democratic. Imagine a free. It's going to just, all the conflict. Look, the globalists are on the run, and they know their shit's been had. So
it has been. Yeah, we're after them.
We're after them. That's all we got. Jeff, we are out of here. Chip, Jeff, we are out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.